Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers.
We greet you all. Moses Mugisha is my name. I come to you from Oslo, Norway, the country of the Vikings. We come to you on the 15th of February. Speaking as a Ugandan, today marks exactly 1 month since the presidential elections in Uganda. And whatever happened on that day, arrests, whatever the drama that was in there, the good things that were there, everyone speaking about that is saying it is making 1 month since such and such a thing happened. But we want to thank God that amidst everything that has happened, we are still alive, and he's giving us a chance to live and make impact. We come back to you today to run you through another show where we are discussing our landlord, social media. Space where people have established businesses without paying rent, a space where guidelines and regulations are not that tight to as compared to our traditional setting of a business and office, a space where people are running offices where you have no terms and guidelines apart from those set by Facebook or those platforms. But otherwise, these are spaces where everyone opens up a channel and runs it as per their wish and standards. And again, it's a space where people have changed lives, a space where people have realized dreams. But on the flip of the coin, it's also a space where some people's dreams have been shattered, images have been shattered, and a lot has been shaken just because of how social media has been used or approached. Again, it's a space on the scale of countries. It's a space where governments have been taken down. Social media. And on the flip of the coin, it's the same space where some governments have been able to understand how their people think, and it has given them a better grip on how to govern them and manage them. Social media is a space where people approach it differently. People have benefited from it in different ways. Today, I come to you with a guest from the Netherlands, Kenneth Muyingo. I guess we last hosted, I believe it's coming to 13 months back. Am I right, Kenneth?
Right about, yes.
Yes. And today we want to navigate a topic, the danger of social media, misinformation and disinformation. That's the area where I want to approach. We have full understanding, and we believe social media has a lot of credible information, a lot of valid information, a lot of academic information, but the same social media has a lot of misinformation and disinformation terms. We shall later dive into to understand what these terms really mean. But before I usher in my guests, I want to thank you all who take time to watch Euroforum. Those who recommend Euroforum on a range of aspects and in a range of networks, and take pride in watching and sharing. But without further ado, let me first chip in my friend here, Kenneth. Kenneth, how are you, Sebo?
I am doing great, Moses. Thank you so much for asking, and also thank you for hosting me and creating this space, and for the wonderful work you're doing. The impact you're making is visible, and I think it's far-reaching. Your impact is reaching places that you may not have yet reached, and Good on you.
Again, that's social media. Mm.
Indeed, I also take this opportunity to just say hello to our viewers and listeners, wherever you're connecting from. Let us know in the comment section where you're connecting from. I see Abu Matovu made a comment. And I also just wanted to start by acknowledging Mr. Abu Matovu's comment on the poster that announced this broadcast. He mentioned something. He said, social media is like fire. It can cook your food or it can burn your house. And I really like that.
Exactly.
And for me, I say social media is like electricity. With it, you can cook food for a person or you can cook the person.
And that was it sold.
Abu Matov is also in the Viking land.
Yeah, he's
Over to you,
very vibrant and consistent viewer. Yes, thank you, Kenneth. Abu Matovu, I see Namata on YouTube. She's also watching, and many of you out there, thank you for taking off time. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Later on, clips of this show will be uploaded on TikTok, where you can also take the comfort to enjoy with us. Social media is our center of focus, and we don't mean to be all over. We just want to narrow to the understanding of how misinformation and disinformation is spread on social media. But I want to congratulate Norway as a country and the people of Norway generally on the milestones that are happening in Winter Olympic Games taking place in Italy. Norway, the last I checked, was tabling the number of gold medals. It was having 20, seconded by Italy 18, and the US having 16. And generally, on record, Norway has the most winter gold medals in the world, having 405, and seconded by USA down there, having there is some facts there. You know, it's as we are speaking of disinformation and misinformation, it's also we must also enjoy the luxury of sharing facts when we have a grip on them. That's the Winter Olympic Games, and Norway, all-time winners of the gold medals. They're having 405, US 330, German, and the list goes down. So I want to congratulate the people of Norway on that. And I also want to congratulate everyone out there throughout the week who has had something to celebrate, something to look onto and say, indeed, it's been you, God, it's been you, Allah. Mukulikeyo, Valentine's Day. Yesterday it was a day of love. It's also a very interesting discussion, what people understand of Valentine's Day. And you also saw the role of social media in spreading the understanding of Valentine's Day. Some people know it as a day that is only limited to intimate love, affection. Others scale it down to even their mothers. But okay, that's not our line for now, but we're only acknowledging how far social media can go. Thank you, what you have you out there watching us on social media, on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Kenneth,
Sir,
help me understand, what is social media for you?
good question. It's in the simplest of terms, social media, internet-based platforms that are used. It could be a platform or an application that is used to create or share and exchange information. And this could be ideas or otherwise, points of view, perspectives. And for us to understand what is social media and what is not, we have to just first get clear on what social media is, the definition. And then you can look at what you're questioning and evaluate it alongside the definition, and then to know whether it is indeed social media. But in the simplest of terms, platforms, applications that enable users to create, share, and exchange information, ideas, content in a virtual setting. Because I think that's very important to highlight that social media are, for the most part, virtual communities or settings.
Is the chat GPT social media for you?
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's so to understand, if you ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence platform. That's a completely different conversation. You can use an artificial intelligence platform to find information that you can share on social media. For the most part, yeah, they're different. I wouldn't classify ChatGPT as an artificial intelligence platform.
Okay, thank you. We are discussing the danger of social media misinformation and disinformation. What is the misinformation? What are the terms? How do you understand the terms misinformation and disinformation, and how do they differ?
Good question. I think I want to start here. Hard times create strong men.
Indeed.
Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
So,
and right now, we are somewhere in this cycle. If you are conscious enough, you can be able to identify where we are. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. And just going back to your question, I just decided to drop that in there for us to think about. And the danger of social media, misinformation and disinformation. There are two aspects, there are two things here, misinformation and then there's disinformation. And when we're looking at what we mentioned earlier, because of the fact that it's a social media platform, it has made the sharing of information instant and globally accessible. You share something in the Netherlands and someone is able to, we're right now broadcasting on social media. I'm sitting here at home in my home in the Netherlands, and there's people who are consuming this from Norway, wherever, even some as far as America. And that's the power of social media. But it has also made false information be able to spread much faster. And I think it's important that we have a conversation about this. And I want to first thank you actually again, Moses, for bringing up this topic, because it may be the thing that helps to set the conversation right, or to start a conversation in our networks and in our homes, even with our loved ones and our children, where the limits are set and what can and cannot go. So the two things, misinformation and then disinformation. I like to work with definitions, and then we can be able to know, okay, what are we dealing with? When we're looking at misinformation, it's for the most part false, inaccurate information, but it's shared without the intent of harm. So somebody may share something because they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know, but they want to share. They find something and then they just share. I think you're muted, Moses.
I was saying that to some, the drive is about volunteering information, being the first to share, being the first to update, being the first to inform.
Exactly, because that's where that falls. Because then misinformation, for example, if someone shares, and outdated health tip. They may not be intending to actually give wrong information, but because they don't know what the latest on that is, maybe someone says there's malaria has no cure, for example. I'll just give a practical example because we live in Europe and some people are really afraid of malaria. We know it because we were born in Africa. And somebody may say malaria has no cure because they read it somewhere in the archives. Yeah. But actually, the truth is that's an outdated health tip. And then the second one, which is disinformation. This, I think, is a very important one. It is false information deliberately created to spread and deceive or manipulate. Someone goes intentionally on a tangent and they create false information. They know I am making this up, and then they share it with the intention of deceiving and manipulating others. And a good example is what we classify as fake news, or the things that people
Donald Trump, fake news.
People can we're not calling names here.
No, of course, that's popularly known for Donald Trump. The Donald Trump fake news.
Exactly, or something that can be intended to just create panic in the minds and the hearts of people. But what we need to realize is that both these things are harmful. But when we are looking at disinformation, it is intentional. Someone makes up something and they know they're not telling the truth, and they put it out there. So that is really an intentional action. I hope I did justice.
I feel we've split them very well. One, it's I understand that the difference is the intention, the motive. One is intentionally spreading false news. Another is innocently spreading false news.
Yeah, because they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know.
And then, okay, there is another fold of this. We have misinformation, disinformation, and then propaganda.
Yeah.
What is propaganda in this context?
Now, I think propaganda falls under disinformation. For me, when I think about it and the way it is in most cases driven, this is also as old as the human race. We just have to understand that I'm a reader of the Bible, and part of what the preacher in Ecclesiastes said, there's nothing new under the sun.
I love that. I love that verse.
Things just change the way they are being presented, but there's really what is happening today. Something can happen and you think, okay, this is the first time this is happening. Go and do some research. You'll see that there's a similarity of something that happened at a certain point in time. Propaganda is, for the most part, information that is often biased, misleading, and emotionally charged. And it's a deliberate creation to influence people's opinions and beliefs and to influence their political or ideological views. So when I classify it under disinformation, you see why, because there is an intentional creation of it. And when we realize that, in the most part, the creation of propaganda you see that it's a one-sided conversation. The way they paint the picture, it's like they paint for you a one-sided argument. This is what this is, and this is what this is, and
suit their interest.
exactly. And it could go along as far as hiding key facts, sharing some information and leaving out the other intentionally. It could repeat certain messages to influence people's perceptions.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
People believe that when maybe something is said over and over again, it can be able to influence people's opinions. And I think a good example of what happened during Adolf Hitler's occupation of Germany, there was a lot of use of propaganda in history, because sometimes people think propaganda has just started now. Yeah.
No, not at all.
During the time of Joseph Stalin in the Soviet Union, there was a lot of use of state propaganda. So for us to realize that these things have been happening, and they're as old as the human race, if I could say it like that.
Thank you, Kenneth. Speaking of people believing repeatedly shared information, yeah, actually, this is a psychological fact that people tend to deem information repeatedly shared or correct, as opposed to information that is less repeatedly shared. And you see companies doing a lot of that, not meaning to say that information is false, but that's a core in marketing, that something repeatedly said, it reaches the point and you believe it as gospel truth. And you somewhere hinted on the people believing this false information. We want to believe that it both aligns with it being shared quite often, but also some information is, believed immediately shared, even if it's once or thrice. Why do you think people often believe false information shared on social media? Maybe also to narrow it down, the falseness in it is for those who have the third eye to understand that it's false.
Yeah.
But why do people believe this information that is often shared, even without knowing whether it's false or not?
There is a psychological need for people to first belong, and to identify, and then you mentioned something interesting about how this is used in marketing. There's part of the reason why you realize that you see ads repeated, being like you're being like targeted with certain ads, and you see it over and over and over again. There's a psychological thing to it that a human being has to see something at least 7 times to be able to make a decision about it. Yeah. So this information, when people are out there intentionally trying to send out false information, they're going to be aggressive. Yeah. They can make sure that your 7 times, you get your 7 times in 24 hours rather than even 7 days. They can put 7 different people on a campaign to communicate the same thing that is intentionally misleading, and then you're hearing the same thing from 7 different sources, and before you know it, you are forcing you're getting to believe something that you would otherwise not have believed, because you're like, if everybody's saying it and everybody's saying it, maybe it's true. Actually, maybe this is what this is. But actually, I think it's important that I just mentioned this here in light of information sharing, that when you see information online, wherever you see it, let the information give you information. That's it. But let the final decision that you make be up to you. Take advice and not orders. Don't let people push you around. Don't let people deceive you into doing things you don't want to do. If you hear something and you don't agree with it, you are a free human being. You are free to just dismiss it for what it is and just trash it, or for, if I could just use that word. Because at the end of the day, because there are people out there who are intentional in just spreading the wrong information for different reasons. And I think it's important that we realize that when this happens, there's an undermining of trust, whether it's from an individual, whether it's from a community, whether it's from a country, an institution. When that pattern of people encountering repeated false information from you as a source, because right now information is readily available, and we'll be talking about some things that we can actually incorporate into our day to be able to safeguard ourselves against false information or disinformation. Because if you do a quick fast fact check and you know, okay, this is just deception,
Mm-hmm.
then you know how to classify whatever that source is, whether it's a government, whether it's a system or an institution or an individual.
I'm just wondering, speaking of course, people, we generalize people, but we also understand that as we encourage people to scrutinize information that is shared, we must also be understanding with the fact that some people are able to scrutinize this information guided by their knowledge of scrutiny or information in that field.
Yeah.
But we also understand that a good number of people on social media don't have that time to scrutinize info. Many of them want to be the first to share. I'm the first. Latest updates, breaking news.
Yeah.
And when it comes to WhatsApp groups, one time it was way back in 2021, December or January, somewhere around there, when someone forwarded a very sensitive video disregarding the integrity of one presidential candidate then. And it was a very, very fragile atmosphere. And when this lady was confronted, you could feel that innocence in her voice. I didn't know that it wasn't the right information. And a good number of people in that category, that they have no idea of whether or not it's false, but they don't even have the tools and the powers and the knowledge to scrutinize such information. How would you guide on that?
Two things. I think we're looking at the person who shares the information and then the people that receive the information. So, and right now with our mobile devices, this thing that you have in your hand, it has a computer that is more powerful than the first computer that sent men to the moon. And you just have it in your hand. It's a tool. But if you don't use it correctly, it could just cause problems. The thing I was talking about earlier, technology, you can use it to cook food for a person or you can cook the person. So when we are talking about the aspect of sharing information, when you are going to share something online, what I hope you get my heart. If you don't get anything that I said tonight, pause before you share any information. Just pause before you share this information and have your own checklist, because part of the challenge that we have is we have not taken time to get clear on who we are and what our life's work or our own assignments are. I'll give you an example. There's people I have been really direct with and harsh. If like someone sent me a very horrific video of just a group of people abusing another human being, and I called them, I'm like, why did you send me this? Did I ask you for it? Yeah. Why did you send it to me? Did I tell you I have interest in something like this? And he was like, no, I just thought I want to share. I'm like, no. If you ever think about someone that you want to send this kind of trash to, please don't send it to me. If I ever receive anything like this from you, I will block you.
I just thought,
Yeah.
what a lame excuse, a lousy excuse.
Because see, most people are walking. No, seriously, Moses. I'll just say it like it is. Most people are on autopilot. They receive a video and they just forward it.
I just
So I'm like, so for me, I have my checklist. If what you are sharing is not inspiring me, if it is not educating me, if it is not uplifting me spiritually, it's not for me. And that's the checklist that I have with even the information I share. First, is it true? Yes. Is it inspiring? Is it uplifting? Is it educative?
okay. True.
And so the first thing is pause before sharing. I don't know what other people's checklists are, but my checklist is if I'm sharing something, it has to be true, it has to be inspiring, it has to be encouraging, it has to be uplifting.
Kenneth, allow me to interject.
Yes, please.
There are 5 aspects here: true, inspiring, educating, spiritually uplifting. Actually, there are 4.
Yeah.
My understanding is inspiring, educational, and educative, and spiritual uplifting. Those you have full control over. But I'm curious about the truth of this information. How do you censor this information on its spot? And no, of course, the information you can censor immediately, but there's also information that is just at the verge of being false or correct. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, if you can't fact check it, then don't share it.
No, I mean, you said when someone shares, now you're speaking as a recipient.
No, we're still talking about first the sharing, the one who shares.
Okay. Now you're speaking for yourself as one sharing.
Exactly.
Okay. I get you.
Before sharing, and once you are clear on that, you can, if you receive something and you really feel the need to share it, do a quick check. Right now, I mean, with your mobile phone, you can be able to like find something in a split second, if I could say it like that. Yeah. Because if you tell me something and I check on my trusted sources of information online and I can't find it, it's not true for me until I can find that actually this is what this is. So check the source of the information for credibility. Because
sorry, go ahead, please.
People are out there with wrong intentions, and they just some people are out there actually intentionally just to destroy other people's reputations.
Exactly.
So if you cannot verify that something is true, then don't share it, unless you are telling me that the 5th one that I actually wanted to add to the list of the 4 that is it funny?
Is it funny? Yeah.
Sometimes a funny video every now and then. There are people in my network who have got that right, because it's not everyone. We have been in touch, Moses, for years, but I've never received a funny video from you, for example. Because we don't relate.
Yes, we haven't designed that line of communication.
Yeah, we don't.
And actually, on the other side, I would also be surprised to receive a funny video from you, because we haven't established that kind of line of contact.
Exactly. But there are people who have that access to be like that.
Exactly.
But they send it to me and they know I will appreciate it. So things like that. And you like, okay, this is a good laugh, and you just leave it there. So it may not be, in that sense, if it's funny, I may not even check. There's something I was laughing about with my wife this morning. There's a video we watched online, and we're like, this is just, I mean, I just even didn't want to like know, okay, yeah, was this really, did it really happen? It was just funny. We had a good laugh about it in the morning. We were like, yeah. And sometimes things are like that, because with social media, the rise of artificial intelligence, there is something called deep fake. And this is, so when people are talking about artificial intelligence, you can create, someone can take your image and your voice, and they can actually make you say whatever they want you to say.
And they create a Kenneth Muyengo.
Exactly. And then you find yourself on social media saying things that you didn't say, and you're like, wait, hold on a minute.
Hey.
So,
And people in Uganda will at that point say ojagulira omuliro. Awoza kaswali keeko batongeremu.
and then they're pushing an agenda, and they're just pushing an agenda, and you're like, where is all of this going?
Now, Kenneth, the fact that we are here to create awareness within our means, of course, and I believe we're also sharing from personal experience how we are doing this, but also leaning on facts. You said your cause, what you use to scrutinize this info, is truth, inspiring, educational, spiritual, uplifting, and funny. But about you censoring of whether it's true or false, you said, when I use my sources, are you comfortable to share some of those sources? Because the thing is, I personally actually have sources which I use to censor some information before sharing it. Because my point of view, when I receive info, my image is to some level the way I feel it. And it's that level where I stand to guard it jealously. So I don't want to be a victim of propaganda, a victim of loose information. So for me, I have my sources. What are those sources? Because this could help people.
Yeah.
The next time they are sharing, to type in somewhere, say, okay, what is the credibility of this information?
Yeah. Now, this is an interesting one, because it depends on the context. Some information you may be able to fact check online. Some information you may be able to fact check in the newspapers, all through different archives. But for me, the thing that I rely on when I'm talking about like information that is supposed to be readily available online, I use the internet. There are fact-checking websites. You can just do a quick search on that and see which one you can find that is most comfortable for you. A fact-checking website. Google, you can, whatever it is, there are many. And once you find, because if you're looking at something, and for example, if something is supposed to be available on the international news, then it has to be somewhere on the internet. It can't be international news and it's only the source that sent it to you that has that source of information. So then you can check.
I agree.
But if it's local news and it's not yet been made readily available internationally, then you may have to do your fact checking with local sources. For example, if I am sitting here and I see a video, they say something about the town where I come from in Uganda. I may not be able to see that on the news right away, but I have some people on ground. I just make a quick phone call. Hey, what's happening there? And I don't tell them why I'm calling. Hey, what's happening there? And then they tell me, oh yeah, actually this is happening and this is happening and this is happening. I'm like, okay, yeah, thank you for letting me know. I don't even tell them why I called. But then you see that you have checked the information that you received from a different source that has not been influenced. And that way you can be able to know that, okay, yeah, this is what is happening. And when we are talking about most cases, people get excited with headlines. I think it's important that we mention this also. Read beyond the headlines. Sometimes people just see headlines, boom, this, and this, and they're like, oh my.
Breaking news.
Yeah. And then they just run with something. But they also don't understand that sometimes the way these headlines are drafted is to capture attention and to get you sucked in. You may find that actually what you see as a breaking news headline is actually, it's not what you expected. So when you see information, before you get excited about it, read beyond the headlines. And once you are clear that, okay, this is what this is, then you decide what to do with it. Because sometimes, like what you mentioned, some people are quick to share because they want to be the first.
That's a very common vice.
Yeah, and then what? Okay, you're the first to share it, and then what?
Of course, to many it uplifts their egos.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. I always have prompt info. I'm the first one to share.
I was the first to share it. Okay, congratulations, you were the first. And we hope you are not the first to apologize when we find that actually what you shared is not true. But also, I think it's important to diversify our information sources. To have different places where we get information, it can be helpful not to be dragged into one point of view other than being able to see things for what they are.
Kenneth, thank you. Speaking of the danger of the one-sided story, as psychologists have it, that a story has four sides.
Yeah.
And you realize that as we are communicating to people as a whole, but there are also digital creators like you and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow you. You create a lot of content, very, very credible content, in my opinion and in my view, which seeks to create awareness and uplift people. But I also understand that social media, like I started, it's a space where everyone, for as long as you have a smartphone, you can have an office. You can establish a company or a page and you have followers. You build momentum and you have 1,000 or 10,000 followers. But do you think we are obliged to scrutinize or to censor information we share on our platforms?
Yes. Because what sometimes we miss or we don't realize is that the internet doesn't forget.
Sure.
And I think it's sometimes you may get emotionally triggered and you're really like fired up about something, and then you post something and then boom, someone takes a screenshot of it. You may even delete it later. But it has already done the damage. It has already done the damage. And a post that was maybe made in an emotionally heated moment of maybe 3 minutes may cause damage that may take years to fix. So it's important that we verify before we share. Because as someone who shares information, I think, let me just say it like it is, like I feel it. Having the right to an opinion does not make your opinion right. I'll say that again. Having the right to an opinion does not make your opinion right. Sometimes people think, yeah, because it's my right to express myself. Okay, check and see that what you're expressing is actually the truth. Because you may be sincere in your emotions and you are actually very charged about it, but you may be sincerely wrong. You may be sincerely wrong, because sincerity is not a test of truth. Truth can only be tested by truth. And I think it's important for us to just put it out there.
I love that, Kenneth.
Yeah.
Oftentimes people front the word sincere. Sincere.
Yeah.
I'm sincerely speaking, I didn't do this.
No, but exactly, because
I swear upon the living.
and you can be sincerely wrong, and you don't even know it. So truth can only be tested by truth. Yeah. So it's important that when we are talking about being able to share information as individuals, it's important to build digital literacy. Educate yourself about the topic that you want to talk about. There's platforms all over. I mean, the right information is out there. The challenge that we have, Moses, is people want to share information, but they don't want to do the homework.
But that's also time invested. You remember, Kenneth? I'll quote you the last time, a year back.
Yes.
As you spoke about the inclination of a typical African to books and reading. So if you're telling people to search for information, of course, keep in mind that it is a no-go zone area to so many. That's why many people love summarized video information in audios or videos. So
now this is where I think it's important that we realize who we are. Because if you want to just be on social media because you like their attention, there's people who are actually they're really succeeding by just being cute, and they're just showing up and smiling on social media. They're not saying anything, and they're just there. I don't know.
That's social media.
Exactly.
That's social media.
I respect them, because then they're just there. They're doing what they do best, which is being cute, and they're getting a following and a liking because people like looking at cute people. Yeah.
And they're paid for that by YouTube.
Exactly. Some people like comedy. They like to crack jokes and make people laugh. And they are on there just doing that. But even someone who likes to be cute, they put in the time to make sure that they are ready for the camera. They don't just wake up because they like to be cute and they just show up the way they show up. They put in some work. So if you decide to be a distributor of information, part of the responsibility of a distributor of information is to fact check, to do research. Yeah. So if that is a struggle, maybe check and see if this is what you actually want to do. Maybe some people actually, how they do it is, if you don't want to do the research, do live broadcasts. Because if someone switches on their live camera and they say, I'm right now in this place and this is what's happening, and they just show you what's happening, you see it for yourself. Yeah. There's pretty not much research they need to do besides that, because it's a live broadcast. You're seeing what's happening. You may not like what is happening. You may not agree with what's happening, but it's actually happening right in real time. And they don't have to do any extra research for that. So they put the information out there, and then the internet runs with it. Some people who don't have the privilege of doing the live broadcasts then will take the clip of the one who was live, and then they will make a social media clip about it. and, and, and I think this is what happens. Yeah. But if we are talking about sharing information, it's important that we compare information across multiple reputable platforms. Check and see, okay, I want to talk about this. What can I find about it? And if you find that, okay, there are things sometimes that I may have wanted to talk about, but I have not, because I can't verify the information.
Yeah, you're just like me.
Others, I have decided not to talk about because I feel like it's not my responsibility in this season. Because more than anything, I'm really, the word for me for the year is intentional. I'm being really intentional. Even in showing up for this broadcast, it was an intentional effort. You reached out and you gave me the topic. I was like, okay, yeah, this speaks to me and we can make it happen.
Yeah, sure. Kenneth, first to you, our viewers, thank you for already taking off time to interact with us. Share, of course, your views in the comment section, which we appreciate so much. And also engaging with us later off the live shows. You do us a lot of great service, which has propelled us and kept us afloat. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. And our topic is a question or a concern about the danger of social media misinformation and disinformation. This has also been tied in the same category with propaganda. Earlier, before the show, before at the start of the show, Kenneth already broke down these terms: misinformation, disinformation, propaganda. In case you just joined in, after the show, don't hesitate to sweep back and check out what they mean. Speaking of, we've opened up a lot about what these terms mean and the extent, but let us understand what is the danger that is in there. Now we've hinted on this and the other, but what is the danger? What is at stake? At the what is the risk by this misinformation, particularly disinformation, where there is an intention of spreading this kind of information? Guide me, please. What is the danger that is in there?
Part of what we hinted on earlier is disinformation and misinformation. Both of them undermine trust first, because if someone is intentional in sharing false information and then you find out that, okay, this was not true, then you put them in their category, okay, yeah, this is what this is. Yeah. So you just, whether it's an individual, a government, an institution, and once trust is broken, it's important to realize that you can break trust like this, and it may take years to rebuild it. And then I think the second danger is that it can threaten public health, most especially when it has to do with things that relate to sharing of health information. Sometimes you hear information out there and you're like, this is creating more panic than actually helping. And then people are like, yeah, okay, is this really helping? So, something else that I think is important is that there's a fueling of division and conflict. When misinformation and disinformation is done on a repeated basis, sometimes you may find that even talking about on a national level increased political polarization. I'm talking about social unrest. And then bringing it closer to our personal lives, it could lead to online harassment. And people are just like being harassed for opinions or things that they perspectives they have and points of view. And also to realize that this misinformation and disinformation it can be used to manipulate elections and democracy as well. As unfortunate as that is, a disinformation campaign can be started intentionally to spread false narratives against a specific candidate. And because that is done, it may affect how the elections turn out. A disinformation campaign can be started to suppress voter participation, that people who are intending to go participate in the elections because of the information that is put out, they're like, meh.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, there were echoes of that
Yeah.
in the recently concluded elections, and
Indeed. But I think the most important one that we have to really realize is that the damage on mental health. And I think this is not something we can take lightly.
Sure.
Because some people don't know where the limits are. Yeah. They just sharing fear-based content. Just getting people. Some people are scared of even getting out of their own houses because of what they're seeing being shared on social media.
Mm, mm, mm,
And then there's the conspiracy theories. There's people who like they're on a tangent as far as that is concerned. They have a conspiracy theory for everything.
mm.
And
They know something about everything.
exactly.
Mm.
And then they're sharing information, and then you're like, we are finished.
We are dead. And for some reason, people have a lot of confidence in such people that you cannot just speak against what they're doing. You cannot even advise. To them, they are prophets. They have a very huge following, and they've attained a lot of confidence and trust.
Yeah.
That you can't even share, unshakable trust.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Indeed, it's a really tragic situation, because if they say if you share something, if you share a lie often enough and long enough, it will be believed. So
exactly.
with people who are sharing false narratives, their intention in putting it out there so that wherever you turn, you see it. Yeah. And then before you know it, you're being influenced by it. And the people who know the truth sometimes are seeing that, but they're also quiet.
Most likely, they don't want to get into the mud. They don't have the art of fighting into that.
No, see, I think this is a good opportunity for us to balance this, to realize that all that it takes for evil to prevail is for good men and women to do nothing. Sometimes some people can say, yeah, I'm not being evil, I'm not sharing anything wrong, But
I'm keeping
actually,
my space.
yeah, but actually, maybe that's not enough. Maybe you should be saying something. Because if it's only the bad people who are speaking, then it's only the bad people that are being listened to.
And time comes when they will
Yeah.
be believed because they're doing it so often. It's
Yeah, because
they're like
people need
their
something to
information
hold
is
on
like a
to.
thermal advert.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
People need something to hold on to. And the truth of the matter is this, that there are people who are, majority of the people are consumers of this information.
Sure. Mm.
The percentage that creates, even when we are looking at social media, is a very limited percentage. It's at most,
Exactly.
it's even less than 10%.
And I think it's even less than 5%.
Yeah.
Mm.
The creators, most people are on there consuming because people are seeking for answers. People are looking for something to hold on to. And if you, part of what I believe is that if you get, give. If you learn, teach. That if you know something and there's nobody else who knows what you know because you knew it, then it's a disservice to the person who taught you.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
When you get, give. When you learn, teach. Each one teach one. This is the way that we are going to be able to drive darkness out, because darkness cannot drive out darkness.
Yeah, sure.
It's only light that can do that. Think of the room where you are right now. If there's light there, it's because you have switched on the lights. And it doesn't mean the darkness, just switch off the lights and you see how long it will take for the darkness to come. It's instant the moment the light goes off. It's not that when you switch off the light, unless it's like when we were in school, there was those, what were they called again? Steamers?
Yeah.
That you would switch it off.
Pressure lamps.
The pressure lamps, yeah.
Mm.
And then the lamp would still be lighting when you've switched it off a bit until it goes out. But when we're thinking about electricity and how it is, you switch off the light, the darkness appears instantly.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And there's someone who is hearing this, and you are the light in the community where you are. There are people who are groping in darkness because you are refusing the light in you to shine. And I understand sometimes we have all these excuses. Yeah, I'm not ready. I don't want to make a mistake. I want to have it perfect. I don't want people to judge me. All of that is valid, but at the end of the day, the only way you're going to get better is if you get started. The better tools will find you along the way. The better resources will find you along the way. If you are not willing to get started with what you have, where you are, you may not be able to get to where you would like to be. And I really like the engagement. Thank you, Joe Anita, for that. Mental health is an aspect that is indeed an aspect of worth emphasizing, most definitely. Because sometimes we don't realize people are out there suffering in silence. When we think about the post-COVID era, some people are waiting for the world to go back to the way it was. It's not going to. It's
And
not.
funny enough, some of these people are actually very, very informed
Yeah,
about the realities of life. But for some reason, humanity clicked in.
yeah,
To this day, personally, I still, when opening, pressing the button to open a train door,
yeah.
Actually, I used to press with this finger, with the finger in this position. But during the COVID time, I did this, and I'm still doing that.
Exactly.
Not because I don't really know that the pandemic's down, but for some reason, humanity adapts to certain forms of life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are people there who are kept away from realities, kept away from socializing and mingling, and kept away, and whose image is actually shattered because someone told a lie about them on social media.
Yeah.
And the momentum to get up again, situka tutambule, is actually nowhere to be seen. And I think it ties in well with what you're talking about, that there should be people who are willing to diffuse, to debunk these lies and misinformation or disinformation.
Exactly.
Mm,
Because
mm,
if you have something that worth sharing, share it.
mm,
Because sometimes, I mean, we're talking about disinformation and misinformation, but what we have to realize is that the reason we're even talking about this is because we are living in the age of information and technology.
exactly.
So, yes, within this, there is an opportunity that is worth exploring. And unless and until we get to that point that we are willing to do what we feel in our heart has been given to us to do, things remain undone. This is just to encourage. I believe that there's someone who is on here who has been thinking about sharing some information online that they have not started because of whatever reason.
Mm, mm,
Let
mm,
this be the day. Get started. Because there's people out there who are waiting to hear what you have to say. There's people
mm,
who are waiting to hear what you have to say. They're in darkness, and until you allow the light that is in you to shine, you may think you are not ready, but in your not being ready, you are the one who has been assigned. There's something I've understood that it's called an energy signature. There are people
Energy
who,
signature.
so let me say it like this. There's people who could hear me speak the whole week, if I could speak for a whole month, and they'll be like, meh, I don't get it. I don't
Mm,
get it. Because my energy doesn't match theirs. And
mm,
then
mm,
you may come, Moses, and you said the same exact thing. The same exact thing that I may have been saying for years. And they'll be like, oh my God, where has Moses been all my life? I
mm.
needed to hear this. I needed this. Why did he take so long? Only because your energy signature matches theirs.
Energy signature. Okay. I'm picking a new term. Mm,
And like you can relate. It's funny, but how can I say? Sometimes the things we have been through, the
mm, mm,
experiences that life has exposed us to, they equip us with a unique empathy that sometimes when you're sharing something, you may not even be
mm,
talking about that specific thing, but because there's something that you have been through,
mm.
someone who may be going through that same very thing may be helped by the fact that you are speaking and you have overcome what they're going through. This is deep now. I'm taking you spiritual and I'll just park it right here.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. This is very interesting and both uplifting. Like you said, many of what we share, when we tell experiences, when we share from fact, acquired knowledge, but also our opinions. There are people who, to them, we are speaking life into them. And this speaks volumes of how we need to keep on sharing. We need to keep on interacting and reflecting on these aspects. Our topic today is trying to break the ice, is trying to diffuse what has been holding you back and what has been actually propelling you up front in mud. And perhaps from this show, it might be a turning point for someone here to know that I should either get started, that I should use these medias or these spaces to verify information, but also it could be a wake-up call to someone that, hey, come on, you're rushing, but you'll crash it. When you keep rushing it, you'll crash it. Could you pause for a while and verify that information before running for likes and payment? We often say that social media is one space that is very adaptive, very tempting, but also if you don't remember that there is an image to protect someday, and these images might be verified or checked someday by our children. That's such the saddest bit of it. And at that point, you don't even have guts or even the tools to navigate this social media. Because personally, there are some social media spaces I'm not on. Either I have an account there, but I don't engage, meaning that I'm not well versed with how you should delete or even work out things there. Think of a time 10 years from now when so many new apps have been developed and your daughter can navigate those apps in seconds and you can hardly do anything and the information is there. And so I think that's kind of projecting ahead of time when you're no longer after likes, no longer after being paid by YouTube, and no longer after putting up impressions. That's also looking ahead of time. As we wind up, I need you to help me. We've understood and opened up what social media and these different terms of information mean, and also gone down to looking at the dangers or what is at stake. But we also understand that we as humans or individuals, we might do our part, but there are also bodies or institutions like the companies owning these spaces. Do you think they can do something to control them? Or do you think at a level of each country, can governments regulate, or should they anyway? You saw recently in Uganda when social media was, actually the whole internet was cut off. And the president said they built it, so they choose to take it off. To them, that was regulating it. But the regulating, do you think it's something that it is necessary anyway to regulate it, both as governments or the companies owning these spaces?
Good one. I think it's both. These two, the platforms have a responsibility, but as well as governments. And for thinking about the government aspect, it could be along the lines of improving their algorithm responsibilities. And what I mean by this is that some of these platforms have what they call algorithm amplification, and like some videos, you could put up some material, and because of the nature of the material, it is amplified. Whether it is true, whether it is a deep fake, whether it is not true, but because if it checks out their boxes as far as quality, sound, lighting, maybe they'll be like, yeah, just push this. And so to just be able to reduce on the algorithm amplification, this is for the platforms themselves, and also to add fact check levels, because right now with the rise of artificial intelligence, it is possible that the information that is posted on, and I think we are seeing this also a bit, they're starting with, sometimes when something has been created with artificial intelligence, you see that there's an AI label on it. We saw this a bit during during the pandemic, that there was, when people shared information about the pandemic, that the social media platforms were putting links of more information about where you can get the correct information about the pandemic. And I think also to remove or demote harmful disinformation. If someone has continually posted information that is harmful, that it's just removed, and the person is removed from the social media platform, if that is what it has to get to. And then I think also increase transparency on how information is ranked. Then people can be able to know, okay, yeah, this is what this is, and this is where I can categorize to get this information out. And then I think the last one here is to partner with independent fact-checking companies or platforms to prioritize the truth over engagement, and to just be sure that misinformation doesn't spread as fast. Because if, for example, a social media platform, I don't want to mention any names, they partner with fact-checking platforms, that when someone has posted something, that the fact-checking platform and the social media platform can verify that this is false, and then it's actually labeled false information. Then, if you are looking at it and you just want to laugh, you know, okay, this is funny, but it's false. Yeah, for me,
it reminds me of a movie called True Lies.
Yeah, exactly.
They've told you these are lies.
Okay. And on the side of government, I think I'm thinking about enforcing transparency rules for political advertising when it has to do with elections and things like this. And then to also be intentional in identifying and investigating disinformation campaigns. And this is a very delicate dance because crime is contagious.
Exactly.
And when the government becomes a law breaker, it breeds contempt for the law. So when we are talking about the government being able to penalize coordinated disinformation campaigns, what do you do when the government is the head of the disinformation? Where do you report the government?
That's a complex.
Yeah. So
that's a complex.
I think this is something that we need to talk about, and so also something to support public media literacy programs, because right now anybody who has an Android phone can be a journalist. But if
Unfortunately,
it's a good thing, but if this is not supported through literacy programs, then people go and educate themselves wherever they get the education. And then once they get the education, you cannot tell them what to do because you didn't educate them.
in that case, you don't have any right anyway.
Exactly.
What are you regulating that you aren't part of?
Exactly. And then I think something also here that is important is to fund independent journalism, to realize that this is where the world is. And sometimes because of the bureaucracy in government, sometimes they just find it hard to accept that this is the reality of the world. Yeah. That they think some governments are still of the view that they control media because they have a national media center or a communications commission center. And we saw this in even in Uganda recently. The internet was switched off, but people in Uganda were on the internet.
The famous quote in Robert Wynne's book, The Animal Farm, was very prevalent there. Not all animals were equal.
Yeah. And I think it's important that we talk about these things because that's where the conversation has to start.
Yes, thank you so much, Kenneth. This has been a good one, very mind-opening, but also giving knowledge and, of course, food for thought. Each one always has a right to see how they take in information, most of information that is pushing you out of your comfort zone. But our role and our part to play is to share this information and give our perspectives and reflections. And again, as we speak, you might be disagreeing or having an additional input where we openly invite you and encourage you to drop a comment in the comment section. Even after this show, feel free to drop a comment and share your opinion on this. Yes, as we wind up, I need to remind you that next Sunday, we shall be having Joanita Bale from Denmark hosting Henrich Timbo, and they'll be navigating a topic about, in line with business, the diaspora hustle. Kitimbo is one of the entrepreneurs, Ugandan entrepreneurs in Denmark, and will be coming both to tap into history, but also create a broader perspective of how can it be done on a foreign land. Isoboka how he has done it, and of course sharing those aspects where we can also tap information and inspiration. So it will be at 16:30 Central European time, 18:30 Ugandan time, and 15:30 time in the UK. Otherwise, we shall hold it here for now and request you, Sebo, Kenneth. I see you on social media. You're very consistent and regular. And one thing I love about your videos is that I don't know if it was a strategic plan, which I believe it was. You always come the way you've appeared here. It has always been the same way. The 3 times I've hosted you here, you come well put together. It doesn't matter if it's a Sunday, a Saturday, a Monday, a Tuesday. The same output. I'm sorry, display of your how you appear in the camera. So you have a platform on YouTube. Could you just guide me on what your goal is, and then what the platform is called?
Yeah, thank you for that and for the compliment as well. I don't take that for granted. I've understood that in life, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And some people dress as suspects, others dress as prospects. And so
Suspects and prospects.
they dress as a suspect and they want to be addressed as a prospect. So for me, part of my mentorship that I've understood is to dress the way you want to be addressed. We talk about don't judge a book by its cover. We do that all the time. People will judge you by your look until they hear what you have to say.
That's
So they will look at you and they'll be like, nah, no.
No. Next.
Next, exactly. And for me, part of the reason that I choose to do what I do the way I do it is because it's in line with the direction that I have chosen my life to go. I am an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm a community leader, but also a teacher by calling, if you understand what that means. According to the look at Ephesians 4 from verse 11 to 16, you understand what I'm talking about there. In that list of things there that God gave to the church, some teachers, some apostles, some pastors, some prophets. I am a teacher as far as that is concerned. And I've understood that I have a responsibility to share knowledge as far as that is concerned about life, about faith and spirituality. And the best way for me to do this is to incorporate it in what I do every day, because sometimes we think of it as faith. We think of it only Sunday morning, but I've understood that it goes beyond that. It's part of our daily life. So I'm just sharing my beliefs, because this is part of what I teach others. Whatever you believe, practice and teach it, because this is the way that we are going to be able to bring more life into our societies, into our communities. There's people who are out there looking for hope, and they may only have you to listen to. And if you are not speaking, if you're not telling them what you feel has been given for you to say, you miss an opportunity. So this is part of what I do. I have a YouTube channel. It's under Kenneth Muyingo, and my social media platform on Facebook, it's also Kenneth Muyingo, and on TikTok, it's Kenneth Muyingo, and Instagram, Kenneth Muyingo, and LinkedIn, same, Kenneth Muyingo. It's, yeah, I share it because I believe it's in response to a leading that I feel I am receiving in this season, to share the way I do. And from the feedback that I'm receiving, different people from different parts of the world are reaching out to me about that information that I share, the way I share it. And they're like, yeah, it's been helpful. It's been helpful. It's been helpful. And that's the goal.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. I want to thank you so much for your time, and also convey my greetings to you. Actually, not my greetings, but greetings from Sarah Navakoza, one of the Euroforum team members. Is also a host on Euroforum. She saw that you will be on the panel. Very excited she was when she has written your story, which was a story that was very inspiring, and she was very proud to have been one of those who have tapped into your story. Thank you for the time you've taken off. Your viewers, it's been a conversation around the danger of social media misinformation and disinformation. There is a lot of digital vulnerability. A lot of names have been shattered. A lot of images and dreams have been killed. There are people who have never rose again from the time their images and integrity were shaken on social media. And I want to believe that from this conversation with Kenneth, a soul out there will think their next move when they want to forward information, uncensored information, unvalidated information. And again, I tend to remind people in my network that you must not have an opinion on everything, and you must not share anyway.
Yeah.
We have two WhatsApp groups where we've been very clear on the guidelines. No politics, no religion, and unnecessarily funny videos, no. And there are some legends who have stubbornly wanted to cross the line. And because we are solid leaders who believe in what we are, the goal we are leading, we always stand our ground. And you might want to manipulate and remind us how we are not concerned about what is happening in our country, but we're only saying, for this particular space, this is the goal. Can we just respect that? And you realize that there is a lot of calm, and because we believe if this space is closed for you to share that information, there is another space. But also, just as you said, Kenneth, where for you, your guidelines are checking the authenticity or the truth of the information. Do you find it inspiring for you to pass it on to the other person? Do you find it educative? Do you find it spiritually uplifting? And do you anyway find it funny? So I think one of those or two of those, or even all of them, if you could marry one or two in your template of why you share, perhaps we'll have a more peaceful and calm space around us. Because we must also realize that as we share on our keyboards here, on the other side, there is a receiving party. You barely know what is going on in their lives. There are people who have been announced dead, and it's just that postmortem cannot assess what the show. They'll say heart attack, but perhaps the heart attack wasn't just a random occasion that happened. It was perhaps catalyzed by something, by a message. So there is a lot that is happening in social media that I feel as both humans, as people, as groups, as leaders, as servants, because we are all leaders in all aspects. Can we try to redefine the way we share information? Of course, disinformation is again very disastrous because you intend to do this. Misinformation is kind of forgivable, but again, not that much forgivable, because Henry, you've taken down steps which everyone should look at, and I believe this will make an impact. Kenneth, give us your last word. What you would love us to live by before we close the show.
Thank you, Moses, for hosting. And also, I just first want to appreciate you and platform, the Euroforum UG platform, and leadership, and everyone who's working behind the scenes to make this possible. And also, our viewers. Thank you for your engagement and for your presence, Joanita and Abu and the rest. And I don't take that for granted that you took of time to be here and to be part of this conversation. And just to bring it in for a landing, the last remark that I would like to share is for us to realize we can think of it as a final thought. Social media is powerful. Yeah. It can educate, it can inspire, it can connect, but it can also mislead and it can divide. So, in today's digital world, more than ever, critical thinking is not an option, but it is essential. Think twice about that thing that you're going to do. Pause and just reflect in your life. Do I really have to share this like this? And if you're second guessing it, the answer is no. If you ask yourself that question and the answer comes up and you're not sure, it's a no. Because when it's true, you know it. And always, always, always be kind. Because everyone you meet is going through something that you know nothing about. Always be kind. Let someone's day be brighter because they know you. For me, part of my goal is the people that are in my network, I wouldn't want them to come to my platform, wherever I share information with them, and they don't find something that inspires them on a daily basis, something that teaches them something that lifts them up. I don't know how to be funny, so I don't make many jokes. So I'm not a comedian, but I try to educate. I try to inspire. So always be kind because everyone you meet is going through something you know nothing about. And I just want to pack it there and say, God bless you and thank you so much.
Thank you, Kenneth.
You're
To your
welcome.
dear viewers, thank you so much. You do us a great service. I want to thank my team, starting with you, Joanita Bale, living in Denmark. I see you, Jorin Nielsen, who laughed at I believe this was your last statement when you said you don't crack a lot of jokes because you're not a comedian. I guess that's why. Okay. And she said yeah too. Jorin Nassali is also one of the team members. Smoky John Rebin in Denmark. We have a team of 4 ladies in Uganda. That is Irene Narumu, Sarah Nabakoza, Janat Yahaya Nagolola, Esther Blessed Nantongo, and we also have Samantha Elf in Finland. It's a team of 8, together with our patron, Mr. Kasile Fred, in Georgia. It's a team of 9. This is the most uneven team I've worked with, where we are only 3 gentlemen working with 6 ladies. What an injustice.
Wow.
Was but I believe that's strength, because we have both diversity, but also we have women on the team who have motherly instincts, but also grounded in a way. Thank you so much for the work we pull off together as a team. I want to remind you that next Sunday at 4:30, Joanita Bal will be hosting Kimbo Henry, an entrepreneur in Denmark, who has also walked a couple of miles of service in the community, but this time around is coming to navigate the topic around the diaspora hustle. we'll be tapping into his story and his life experience as an entrepreneur, but also navigating the whole space of that. I want to encourage you all to spare time and come to interact. Tubakusibulako bannange okuumireko Valentines abakyagirimu mugyongereyo wiiki yonna eba ya Valentines ne love night mugireka ku Valentines kokka itembeera nnyo bakambwe nnyo nabakalubo nnyo then ku Valentines ngula emulumu mu maduuka. But otherwise, we shall hold it here for now and wish you a happy week ahead of time. Our prayers go to you all who are battling physical, psychological, mental illnesses or sicknesses at whichever level they might be. We further pray for everyone out there who is battling debts at a level that you're losing that dear property you worked dearly for. There are those who have been shaking homes and marriages. Our prayer go to you all. And we celebrate those who have a lot to celebrate successes. There are those who performed very well in the recently released exams, P7 and Senior 4. We put a package. But in all, find time in that space you call a prayer docket. It might be on the train, on a bus. You might have a room somewhere in your house. You might not even sit anywhere to pray. You pray in a queue, heading somewhere. So find time to lean to God, regardless of what you believe in. Otherwise, we hold it here for now. Thank you all. This is a Euroforum, your platform, where you find all you need to guide and awaken and help you tap that energy, passive energy in you. Like Kenneth said, there is a lot of energy and potential in you. Tap it in there. We sign out for now. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Euroforum UG, where we address Ugandans from Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, Australia, and all over the globe. We share experiences, opinions, and expertise on current affairs, educative lifestyle, religion, and family matters. Follow, subscribe, and like our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Euroforum UG. You can also join our live shows every weekend on our social media platforms. For more information, visit our social media platforms or email us at euroforumug@gmail.com or WhatsApp us on +4740 574040. Euroforum UG, communicating with peers.